Okay, so I'd like to introduce Paul Joyce. Thanks for talking to us today, Paul. So, Paul, you're in Galway and you've been connecting in with NCBI for the last number of years. Can you just tell us a little bit of your story, maybe?
RP is my eye condition, and I work in one of the government departments here in Galway. For subcontracted by the NCBI to the department, and I'm still working right through this COVID thing. It's still ongoing, so it is. So I'm working 5 days a week, 9 to 5. I've worked in different parts of Ireland. I worked in Sligo, Athlone, Limerick, Waterford, Longford, and different switchboards working for different government departments.
Very good. You're well travelled.
For probably since 1996, I'd say. Yeah.
Very good.
But I had I'm a long cane user since I was about 21.
Okay. And aside from the long cane, you were saying you have RP. Do you use kind of technology to help you out from day to day?
Yeah, the technology I use, I have a CCTV on my desk at work, which is great for taking notes and messages and all that kind of stuff, and reading any of the updates we get here at work. And I also have a quick look, which is very handy for shopping and stuff, where I can look at the price tags or sizes in the shop and that kind of thing.
Oh, very good.
They're the main. I've still got a bit of sight left, so I'm using my sight as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I can still see, but so I'm using my sight as much as I can, which is very limited. It's probably maybe sort of 95 or 5 and maybe 5 and 10%, if even 10%.
Okay. Yeah.
Sight left.
Okay.
And then just a quick look at handy, just magnification really, and the iPhone I find very good as well.
We've kind of had a couple of webinars over the last few weeks, and we've been doing sort of instructional videos and overviews of some of the different technologies, but everyday life, kind of using these technologies in everyday situations can be a little bit different. How do you kind of manage with, for example, with the iPhone, do you use VoiceOver all the time, for example, or how do you use the accessibility features?
Well, I'll use the VoiceOver on the iPhone if I'm out of the office or out and about. If I'm in the office, I actually switch off the VoiceOver and I actually put the iPhone under my CCTV.
Okay.
And read and whatever I need to write, emails or text messaging, I'll just use that. But if I'm out and about, I'll use the voice. So I suppose as well, when I'm in the office, there's people around me. So it's I don't normally carry the headphones with me.
Okay, yeah.
So sometimes with the headphones, by the time you get them unraveled out of your pocket and the call's gone or whatever.
Yeah. Is that the main reason why you'd choose to use it that way, or is there any kind of, would you say, is there any drawbacks with VoiceOver other than that?
There probably is. I just find it harder to use the VoiceOver rather than using my sight. I suppose the fact that I use my sight as much as I possibly can, but I'm still prefer to rely on my sight more than maybe listening to the VoiceOver.
Yeah. Is there any particular things that you've found that don't really work well with it? That's a bit of a flaw with it, maybe, or do you find that generally it can manage with most tasks?
It's kind of you have to kind of do more, I suppose, with the VoiceOver. That is kind of more. It's like, say if you make a mistake on you're writing the text message. I haven't figured out how to go right back to the actual section, but when you can do it under the CCTV, all I do is put my finger where the mistake is, and you're back there, and you can just delete that bit and then just type it out again.
So just kind of, it's more intuitive, I suppose, when you're able to use your mind.
Yeah, backspace where you made the mistake. If you're listening to it, if you're using the VoiceOver.
Yeah, very good.
That's been one of the little drawbacks.
And would you say, is there any other kind of tips that you'd have for people who maybe might be getting used to VoiceOver or getting used to some accessibility features on various different technologies? Is there any other little kind of quick cheats or tips that you'd have?
I suppose it just takes patience and tolerance, and I suppose, discussing the technology with other people who might be using it longer than yourself.
Yes.
That would have all the shortcuts.
So do you use Siri much?
Very little, unless I'm out and about and on the move. Because, you're using the cane in one hand and you probably shouldn't be doing that. But you're dictating then as you're going along rather than having to type out a message as you're walking.
Yeah.
So then I would dictate in that situation. For quick messages, I dictate.
Yeah. And any particular apps that you've found useful on the phone, or?
Fitbit is the one I'm mostly using now at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say a few people
I'm in competition with a few people, so that's the one I'm checking out.
So if there was kind of others out there who were of the same mindset, who aren't particularly into technology, who might have even kind of ignored technology or avoided technology, would there be anything that you'd say to them about it? Anything that you find kind of has affected your life positively?
Well, it is definitely. A friend of mine said to me years ago, she was telling me, she's been very Paul, you've got to get an iPhone. I said it'll change your life. I said, no, that's impossible. How can a phone change your life? And it hasn't changed my life, but it has definitely, the iPhone is definitely one of the better purchases I made in my life. So it is.
Yeah, very good.
It is quite straightforward to be using rather than using a laptop or a computer or desktop. I think, in my opinion, now it is, yeah.
So you use that for like all your communications and everything, the emails or messages or anything?
Yeah, it's much easier, and on the move as well. You can do stuff, and it's I suppose the iPhone is quite straightforward to use compared to maybe like to the laptop or a desktop.
You'd find the iPhone has made things easier than like a computer or a laptop or anything like that. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what would you use your phone for? What would be your typical day's usage of a phone?
Phone, I would use it mostly for emails, texting. But I would also, if I don't have a magnifier or something like that, I will actually FaceTime friends of mine who have who would be on an iPhone as well, and you can use them to give you directions.
Brilliant.
Or if you're walking down the street and you're not sure where the shop is, you know what's around there somewhere, but you have. You just all just pull out your iPhone, ring anybody, it doesn't matter who they are, as long as they're not visually impaired. They'll be able to tell you whether you're outside the right shop or not there.
Oh, very good.
So that's definitely FaceTime is really good. It's very, very, very a very good positive thing to be having. I've actually, a friend of mine was on holidays, he rang a friend of his, and he wasn't very familiar with where he was, but he just, his friend just basically walked him down the street and told him everything was on. He was just going down the phone in front of him, camera facing out the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
So you can, they were able to see it in real time.
Yeah,
and tell them exactly what was there. So then after they had basically brought him on a tour of the streets around where he was staying, and that was him able to work away then from himself from that day on.
Excellent. And that's what you would use the iPhone for from time to time as well? You'd use it to maybe call somebody, get them to use the...
Or if I'm somewhere, even in a shop or something, or you don't actually have your magnifier with you, just the iPhone just do the same thing.
Yeah, very good.
Just ring up someone, and they might all you need is a couple, not even a minute, just what's that there, So that's shops mostly you can get people to help you as phones to let you know they're on the way. So it's good, but just little things like that. But yeah, definitely for if you're walking down the street and you're not familiar with it, just FaceTime someone.
Brilliant. And the other kind of technology that you're using a CCTV and a portable magnifier, are you?
Yeah, I have a CCTV at work. So my desk here, so it's great for taking handwritten messages. And it's and also different information releases are around the office. So when you are on the phone, there's have the info there beside you. And mostly CCTV. I do have the Lucky Plus as well, the Quick Look.
Yeah.
Which is basically a portable magnifier.
And do you carry that with you everywhere?
Yeah. Because I was doing a course there now recently, and it's not set up really for visually impaired people. It's a massage and sports injury course, but I'm finding that I've passed the first year of it. But that's all kind of upside down. But it was great for just being able to follow notes in class.
Right.
So, but like last year, a lot of it was practical, so which is really good.
Yeah, very good.
So it's and I just use just an ordinary dictaphone then for taking verbal notes when I'm in class.
Is there anything else that you've kind of got your eye on at the moment? Any other technology you've heard of, or anything that you'd like to check out?
Not that I've heard, but then again, I'm not keeping up with what's happening out there. I suppose that's the main thing, that I'm not actually staying in.
Yeah.
In touch. So I'm still I don't think I've switched over from using different technology. I'm still, like I said, if I can use my sight, I'd always do that rather than listen to stuff or having an earpiece in if I can help it at all.
I think a lot of people would probably identify with that, in fairness. They'd probably use their sight where they can. The technology is kind of augmenting what you can already do yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, when I'm in class, when you're in class with you get notes, you just copy the notes of the other people.
Be careful what you're admitting to there, Paul.
But once your people get to know you, and they'll always willing to give you a hand.
Yeah. Well, thanks for giving us your thoughts on those different bits and pieces. It's actually it's really good to see how somebody uses the technology. You don't have to have a kind of being an all-pervasive thing in your life to be able to benefit from it. So it's nice to see that.
No.
Very good.
Just have it there for when you need it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your experience with us there, Paul, and we look forward to catching up with you again.